Hello, readers and friends. Today's Wednesday, July 27th, 2022. Thank you for joining me. Diane Lane is one of my favorite actresses. I loved her as Frances in Under the Tuscan Sun. She says, I love the rebelliousness of snail mail, and I love anything that can arrive with a postage stamp. There's something about that person's breath and hands on the letter. So when was the last time you wrote and mailed someone a letter? The last time you wrote and mailed someone a card, birthday, thinking of you, thank you? I keep 2 steno pads on my work area. One is for my day job. I take short client notes, maybe a reminder that I'm going to send them an article or a vocabulary list. The second one is for everyone and everything else in my life. These notepads are sometimes the only way that I can remember what my handwriting actually looks like. I used to write cards and letters, and I always loved receiving them. There's an act of time and commitment to selecting the exact words, reflecting on who I'm addressing, how well I know them or don't know them, that guides the intimacy of what I may or may not say. So thinking about writing letters got me researching letters people have written over the years. I found dozens that I wept, laughed, and booed over as I read them. I chose the following letters to share because they touched my heart in different ways. I'm not going to read the entire letters, but I'd like to read some excerpts with a little of their history. The first one was written by Ursula K. Le Guin in 1987. Apparently, she was asked to supply a few blurbs for a 4-part article that would appear in a revered sci-fi anthology for new, up-and-coming writers. It did not go unnoticed by Ms. Le Guin that there was a complete absence of women authors. She declined the invitation with a very terse letter. I cannot imagine myself blurbing a book, the first of the series, which not only contains no writings by women, but the tone of which is so self-contentedly, exclusively male, like a club or a locker room. Gentlemen, I just don't belong here. In 2006, a group of high school students in New York City were given an assignment by their English teacher to test their persuasive writing skills by writing to their favorite author and asking him or her to visit the school. 5 students wrote to Kurt Vonnegut, since Slaughterhouse-Five was one of the assigned books for this class. While he did not visit, he was the only author to respond. He wrote a letter. December 5th, 2006. Dear high school students and Ms. Smart, teacher, and Mr. Smith, Jones, Bold, and Mink, Cork. Thank you for your friendly letters. You sure know how to cheer up a really old geezer, 84, in his sunset years. I don't make public appearances much anymore because I now resemble nothing so much as an iguana. What I had to say to you, moreover, would not take long, to wit. Practice any art, music, singing, dancing, acting, drawing, painting, sculpting, poetry, fiction, essays, reportage. No matter how well or how badly, not to get money and fame, but to experience becoming, to find out what's inside you, to make your soul grow. God bless you all. Kurt Vonnegut. Federico Fellini was an epic Italian filmmaker. Many film buffs feel his best work was in 1960 with the film La Dolce Vita. After his death in October 1993, tens of thousands of mourners attended his memorial service. And around the same time, the New York Times published an article by a film critic who made his impatience with supposedly opaque, perplexing works of artists like Fellini, John Cage, and Andy Warhol, saying, "I still hear noise and I still just see a soup can." A fortnight later, another master of the craft, Martin Scorsese, responded with this letter: New York, 19 November 1993. To the editor, quote, "Excuse me, I must have missed part of the movie," unquote. An article written on November 7th, 1993, cites Federico Fellini as an example of a filmmaker whose style gets in the way of his storytelling. Broadening that argument, it also includes other artists: Ingmar Bergman, James Joyce, Thomas Pynchon, Bernardo Bertolucci, John Cage, and Andy Warhol. The issue here is cultural diversity and openness. Diversity guarantees our cultural survival. When the world is fragmenting into groups of intolerance, ignorance, and hatred, film is a powerful tool towards knowledge and understanding. But why not take it to its natural progression? Why don't they make movies like ours? Why don't they tell stories as we do? Why don't they dress as we do? Why don't they eat as we do? Why don't they talk as we do? Why don't they think as we do? Why don't they worship as we do? Why don't they look like us? Ultimately, who will decide who we are? Martin Scorsese. In 2012, 10-year-old Sophia B-K wrote an endearing letter to President Barack Obama. As a daughter of a gay couple, she thanked him for supporting same-sex marriage. Here's her letter and the reply she received. Dear Barack Obama, it's Sophia B-K, your friend who invited you to dinner. You don't remember? Okay, that's fine. But I just wanted to tell you that I'm so glad you agreed that two men can love each other, because I have two dads and they love each other. But at school, kids think that it's gross and weird, and it really hurts my heart and feelings. So I come to you because you're my hero. If you were me and you had two dads that loved each other and kids at school teased you about it, what would you do? I just wanted to say you really inspire me, and I hope you win on being the president. You would totally make the world a better place. Your friend, Sophia. P.S. Please tell your daughters hi for me. November 1, 2012. Dear Sophia, thank you for writing me such a thoughtful letter about your family. Reading it made me proud to be your president and even more hopeful about the future of our nation. In America, no two families look the same. We celebrate this diversity, and we recognize that whether you have two dads or one mom, what matters above all is that you love one another. You're very fortunate to have two parents who care deeply for you. They are lucky to have such an exceptional daughter in you. Our differences unite us. You and I are blessed to live in a country where we are born equal no matter what we look on the outside, where we grow up, or who our parents are. A good rule is to treat others the way you hope they treat you. Remind your friends at school about this rule if they say something that hurts your feelings. Thanks again for taking the time to write to me. I'm sorry I couldn't make it to your dinner, but I'll be sure to tell Sasha and Malia you say hello. Sincerely, Barack Obama. When AC and I traveled to Europe in 2018, we spent a lot of time in Scotland and some in England. I spoke about St. Julian of Norwich last week. Visiting her church and cell where she lived and died was on my must-see list. I had a list of must-sees on that journey, both in France, where I spent some of my childhood. And I had not put several lists on that list because I didn't want to seem too greedy. And yet the universe made sure we got to those places as well. One is a contemporary sculpture completed in 1998 by Anthony Gormley. Located in Gateshead, Tyne and Wear, England, the Angel of the North is believed to be the largest sculpture of an angel in the world. It is 66 feet tall with a wingspan of 177 feet. It is breathtaking and powerful to see. It's on a small hill, and walking up to it from the parking lot, my heart was pounding and I couldn't believe I was actually going to see her in person. The second place that I wanted to go to was a small town in Dumfries, Galloway County in southwestern Scotland called Lockerbie. On December 21st, 1988, Pan Am Flight 103 crashed after a terrorist bomb detonated. 11 residents of the town were killed. All 259 people on board the plane died. Total deaths came to 270 people from 20 nations. Many of the relatives traveled distances to bring home bodies of loved ones. Many relatives came to collect the remains but did not want to see the location or meet anyone in town. This next and final letter is called Our Frank. He was on his way home for Christmas to New Jersey, where his wife and 3 children waited for him. Instead, his body was discovered on Margaret and Hugh Connell's small farm in Waterbeck, nearly 8 miles from the main crash site. My dears Lou, Mary Lou, and family, I can hardly believe I'm writing to you. This is something that I had longed to do since 21st December 1988, when your dear one came to us from that night. It was so unbelievable, haunting, and desperately sad. You said that your visit altered the picture for you in many ways. This is just how it was for us too. Frank was a young man with a name, but connected to nobody. Now at last we can match him with a loving family. We were told maybe some of the relatives would never come. We were afraid that you'd come and not want to get in touch. And I was so thankful you made the effort to come and ask all the questions you had always wanted to ask. You had at last found someone who could fill in those last hours, that piece that had always remained a mystery. It's the not knowing that can bring so much pain and bewilderment. We all have imaginations that can run riot in us, and I'm sure your dear souls must have had untold agonies wondering and worrying. It was just wonderful to meet you face to face. We needed to talk to you all too. As you said, we will get to know Frank through you. He was never just another victim to us. For months we called him our boy. Then we found out his name and he was our Frank. Please believe me, we were deeply affected by his coming to us. We will never forget our feelings seeing him there, a whole-bodied, handsome man, the life gone out of him in a tinkling. We were just past trying to grasp the whole thing. Then we have to leave him there, but he was visited throughout the night by police and a doctor, and we went back again in the morning. He was a fellow man, and he had come to us in the saddest way. So now through him, we have you in our hearts, and please, we want you all to know you are welcome here anytime you come. The Connell family. Ooh, that one was a little hard to read. As always, my thanks for choosing, for you to choose to spend a few minutes with me today. And I'm wondering if you have had an experience either sending or receiving a letter that made a profound impact on your life, like obviously our Frank did to me just now. I'd love to hear about it. You can comment here or share with me privately with a message on Instagram or Facebook. Don't forget we need your help as we continue to learn the things beyond just telling the stories one needs to execute to be viable in today's multimedia world. Here on YouTube, that means it's critical to demonstrate viewer engagement. So if you can give this video a thumbs up, that would be great. And clicking that red subscribe button really helps you stay in touch with while it helps us build our presence. And ultimately, this is all about my writing and you readers. The address of my Amazon page is in the description below. All of the Walkerville books are available here in both Kindle and print editions. As always, the direct link for next Wednesday's live chat is down in the description as well. Hope to see you then. And thank you so much for joining me today.